Ted, welcome to the Positive Leadership Academy podcast. I'm so excited to have you here, especially when AI is the only thing that we talk about.
Well, thank you, Javier. Thank you for having me. And you're right, it is the only thing people talk about.
And by the way, I was very curious and I downloaded your, obviously we will tell the listeners and the people that are going to watch us through the YouTube channel. You have your book is there and you have a great landing page and people get some goodies out of it. I got some of it and it was very interesting playing with the devil advocate. It was, it was
Yeah,
really good.
good. I'm glad. I hope it was helpful for you.
It was very helpful because it made me think in a complete different way where sometimes AI, you're like, man, all you do is resonate with me. All you do is empathize with me. Can you please challenge me and tell me, no, that's a crazy idea. What you're doing?
That's it. That's it. That's right. Tell me no. Tell me no. There you go.
Yes. I have a question. Your central argument is that it really divides isn't young and versus old. It's more about people that are adopting AI and people that are kind of like spectators, right?
Yes.
And the adopters are extending their prime, from 10 to 15 years to 50 to 60. What do you see in your own life that convinced you that that wasn't the hype, but a real shift that is happening?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, the reason I wrote the book is also the same reason. So, Ageless Peak Performance, the title of it comes from that belief, the idea that you don't have to rise and peak and then fall off. And the rise and peak falling off is actual science, right? People have an actual capabilities of their brain. We're talking about cognitive thinking, mental capabilities that slow down with age. And this is unfortunately biology. Your ability to recall things faster. I'm sure you think about like your memory is not as fast as maybe it used to be, and maybe just your raw speed of reacting. Whether you can be able to go on Jeopardy when you get older or not, kind of slows down, right? And in the past, what's happened is that peaks and then goes down very quickly. But then at the same time, what gets stronger is your ability to think about patterns, right? Pattern recognition. Again, this is confirmed by neuroscience. Your brain actually changes so that when you see something you've seen again, you can say, I've seen this before faster, right? So pattern recognition. That's also the basis of strategy and judgment. This is why when we talk about just to explain to 10 to 15, now 50 to 60, right? What I'm talking about is I'm making up for what's slowing down, okay, your memory, your speed, at the same time augmenting your judgment and capability. So now you can stay up on top. Now, go back to your question of why and what's the divide between young and old. I think because you can do this, because AI can support this, it's not so much young and old. Older people can now get support to stay on the top. And the reason I came up with this, the reason I wrote the book in the first place was because I myself was turning 50. So I'm 50 now. But when I wrote the book, I started, I was 49. And so, it was imminent to cross that line. And I was thinking about myself and I was thinking about how I use AI personally to make up for some of the deficiencies. And I'm like, look, this is something that I think I should share with other people because it isn't obvious. And it also isn't, TikTok videos about how to use prompts from people who are simply just not going to take that instruction and use it. So it's that combination of things that lead to believe that this is possible, right? Because I used it basically on myself to be able to make up for my own deficiencies. And that's why I say the difference is if you don't adopt AI, you're never going to get that benefit. You're going to be locked into that same curve. And then old versus young does become a real thing. But if you're willing to do it, you're willing to step off the sidelines and really use AI, and the book is a playbook for that reason, is meant to help people, then you can get into that peak, the title, Ageless Peak Performance, but also so that you can then be able to be longer period, 50, 60 years, right? So that's the conclusion that I reached for myself. And because I thought, hey, look, this works for me, it should work for other people.
Absolutely. And first of all, welcome to the 50s club. I
Thank you.
think it's great. I think the 50s are a really good age. Somebody told me a long time ago, I was in my 40s. I'm like, I want to get to my 50s with this and that. And that person told me, well, don't worry because 50 is the prime. You reach that age and it's like a new rebirth because you have the wisdom, you have the experience, you just putting everything into play. So I always tell people turning 50 is definitely the new, maybe the new 30, right? These days, right? Especially with all the advantage that we have as well.
Yeah.
And It's very interesting when you talk about AI as well. Because I see a lot of hype, especially I'm in the coaching and in professional development and personal development as well. How people are tapping into AI for answers. And it's interesting. I just had a session today, and the lady said, "Well, I can talk to AI. I can chat to whatever AI engine they have." And get coaching. And I'm like, okay, well, hey, give it a shot and see what
Go for
happens,
it,
right?
right? Yeah,
Go for it and see. But one thing that people are forgetting, you can put the prompt to anything else, is more of that critical thinking or kind of like challenging for the
exactly.
individual that AI, unless obviously you can condition the prompts or giving the right instruction, that is not going to give you that as well. So it's kind of interesting how there's a lot of misinformation, like you say, where people are not using it. I'm not saying the right way or the wrong way, but they're not getting the benefits of using AI.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, I think it's a very personal thing, right? That's the whole concept of this tool. It is a tool like any other tool, like writing is a tool, like calculators are tools. Okay. It's a tool, but it's a very powerful tool that you interact with and can get better, both you and it, as you work with it. That's pretty unique. So I mean that's a unique thing. That's for you. So I agree. I don't like to criticize or say this is the right or wrong way. I'm just saying again, you're not unlocking the full potential, right? You're not opening your mind to what it could do. And you were talking about the devil's advocate workflow, which is my giveaway on my webpage. So if you go to Ageless Peak Performance, you can get it yourself. But the idea is you can do something a little bit different, right? You can challenge AI to use AI to challenge your ideas, right? And you can do that because you don't have to just treat it like Google. You don't have to just try to ask it answers and do what it says. And this person, your client, who wants the coaching. I mean, okay. Listen, it's going to be better than no coach, but it's not going to be better than a real coach, right? And this is the nature of how AI, and here, of course, we mean generative AI, bots, LLMs, are probabilistic engines. So if you go and you have something that's trained on the internet, it's going to have a lot of good coaching, it's going to have a lot of bad coaching, and you're going to have that average, and that's better than nothing. Okay, better than trying to figure it out yourself, but it's definitely not as good as a real professional, an expert human.
Absolutely. And yeah, I always said, AI coach, and I have tried a lot of AI therapy and AI coaching. And it's interesting because the only input that I'm putting in is my own words. So I'm not putting my facial expressions, my emotions, nothing like that is being captured. So I can literally lie the AI coach and therapist all I want to.
Sure. Exactly. Exactly. The human conversation, even on Zoom, but certainly face to face, is so high bandwidth, right? It has so much
Yes.
more to it. And there's no reason that you would expect AI to be able to do that when it's just text or maybe voice, right? Because there's some voice that you can do now. But the funny thing you say about therapy, which is even more serious, obviously, than coaching, because there's a medical component to that. People go, is AI ready for therapy? What I said was, you know how many years it took humans after Freud, published his papers, and then we started to develop before actual therapy became an actual medical thing? It took decades. So, do we really expect AI to suddenly be able to take the place of human therapists in the matter of years or months? No, of course not. So, these are the kinds of things that, again, it stems from the way I thought about the problem and which reflects in the way I wrote the book, which is, again, if you need a way to figure out how to use it to your potential, I think about this in terms of principles, Javier, right? And that the book is written with 4 principles for that reason, because I want to make it so that it's maybe not timeless and eternal, but it's long lasting. It's something that's going to be true so long as we are using LLMs. And I think that's right. And one of those is very appropriate right here, which is that, don't treat AI like an oracle and treat it like an intern. So the idea is if you think that it has all the magical answers like the oracle does, right, you're going to get yourself into serious trouble. And therapy certainly applies to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, you're in your 50s, so I remember I'm 54, and I remember, I mean, I was one of the early adopters of CompuServe
Okay.
back then, and I remember CompuServe was a bulletin board. That's what it was,
Yeah.
and you put
Sure.
messages, and you get information back, and you dial up. And I remember, God, I remember the first internet browser, Netscape, and really seeing the images as they were coming through with God, I forgot the speed of the modem that I had. And I remember a lot of people getting very, very concerned about what the internet was going to do. I mean, the same conversations that you hear now about AI was the same conversations when
Exactly.
the internet came out. Oh my God, it's going to replace jobs and this and that, and the catalog and the online stores. And I remember when Amazon came out, and people were so fear based that they were like, oh my God, we're going to lose this and that. And it was so interesting. And I said, well, it's very similar. You got to adopt the new technology, put it to work at the same place. The same thing is I I don't think I see people tapping into the yellow pages anymore. Right. I
No, I don't
remember,
think
hey, you need a refrigerator repairman. Hey, go to the yellow pages. You need someone to clean your carpet. Go to the yellow pages. Right. We
exactly.
don't do that anymore.
No, we're not doing that anymore. It's interesting because I actually did a keynote today where I repeated this theme, and I had a TEDx talk, earlier this week in Italy where I repeated the same concept, right? Which is that this tools, right? So we have all of these tools, we all have these interesting tools, but every time, literally the human history that we've had a new tool, people go, whoa, that is going to make us weaker. It's going to mess us up, right? It's going to take away our power. But that turned out to be actually the opposite. And this actually goes back to Socrates. Like one of the quotes that I had is that Socrates, and this is true, go ahead and look it up. He thought that if you write things down, you're actually going to weaken your memory, right? Because prior to that, they memorized a lot more stuff. Now, then teaching as opposed to writing, as opposed to teaching from an oral method, weakens your memory. Now, of course, that's true on some level, but the trade-off is that by writing, you can now do so much more. Right now, I can hand that to you. I could work. Two people can work on the same document. We could do all sorts of different things that we couldn't do when it was just in our heads and we had to talk it through every time. Right. So that there's a trade-off, and then more powerful. But that concept of this is weakening us, these tools are going to take away our capabilities. Certainly, I agree. If you use it wrong, okay, I know we just said earlier we're not going to say people are using it right or wrong, but I think there is a wrong thing, which is to turn off your brain. If you turn off your brain and you say AI, go do this, answer me, answer me, answer me, answer me, of course you're going to weaken your abilities to really think and judge, right? And that's a big no-no in my mind. You really need to keep yourself in charge.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think also, I mean, I also facilitate workshops and experiences, and designing an experience is something that I do mentally. But let's say I got to do a flyer, let's say I got to do a presentation, and I don't want to spend 6 hours designing something. That's something you can tell AI to design it for you, and it will come out even much better. But the what I call the human touch to the work that you do is something that I'm still putting into practice. And also, hey, you can tap into AI, I guess, to say, hey, what about this connection activity? What do you see that I don't see, perhaps, or
Exactly.
something that maybe I'm missing, or that's something that you can tap into it. But I agree with you 100%. Yeah, you will. I remember on the early buzz of AI on LinkedIn, they were showing these brains scan, right, of the brain. They were saying, okay, this is someone using AI for 6 months, and this is someone not using
Oh,
AI.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you're like, really? Oh, wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty extreme. I have a
pretty
question for you. I mean, I work with leaders all the time, and I hear people, I mean, obviously they're not revealing to me how they're using AI, but what do you think an experienced leader should do when they're picking up AI for the very first time?
Yeah. So again, I'm not sure if there's any experience it was sort of very first time, but still certainly maybe early, right? And I think early as defined by people using it like Google, right? Because like your gut response and the way it interacts with you is to try to just ask it questions and get answers, right? That's how it's built. It wants you to keep doing that so you can keep using it, right? So use it like Google is basically what I call. And what I would say to leaders is, look, you need to understand first of all that approach is dangerous, right? Because and again, I think leaders understand they've seen enough of it now, and if you haven't seen enough of it, just go look right now, go look on LinkedIn, go look on social media, look at how much content is written by AI that's just junk, right? Junk, AI slop. That's even assuming it's accurate, right? It could also be fake, hallucinations, right? Disinformation, all that. But all that AI generated content, you can A, tell a lot of it right away, and B, it's not valuable, right? It's not valuable. So as a leader, you really do need to think about, hey, as you start to use this tool, as you start to understand what it can do, understand that you can't just ask it questions and get answers. It's not magic, it's a tool. You need to train, you need to use a framework, right? I offer one in my book, so that's one way, but there are other ways to do it. You don't have to follow me, but you need to think about this methodically in terms of how both it's going to improve your performance and how you use it and your team. If you try to treat it like magic, if you try to treat it like Google, you're only going to get the kind of response that you're going to get from that, which frankly is not going to be that good and probably will be wrong.
Yeah. I'm curious, and I want to switch to your father. I'm a father as well. One of my daughter is very anti AI. I mean, to the point that she will refuse to use AI in anything at all. What is the way you see AI kind of shaping technology and kind of amplifying the human technology capabilities as well from a father perspective, right? Instead of being obviously a lecturer and you talk
Yeah.
about this, how will you kind of see that in your kid? Because the first
Yeah.
thing that came to mind when AI came out, it's like, oh my God, my kids are not gonna learn. They're gonna be dependent on this. Oh my god, they're gonna go dumb.
Exactly. And funny because like that's what people said about Wikipedia and Google, right? Same thing. And by the way, Wikipedia is an encyclopedia. We have physical encyclopedias too. People still learn, right? So, but not everybody, right? And you don't want your child to be the person who stops learning. You want
Exactly.
them to
Yeah.
think about how they can use it to go further, right? So the basics matter less. And I've said this before, right? AI is a very fast doer, right? This is part, again, some of the things I talk about in the book. It can do things faster than you can. Now, I am one of these people. I was like super high overachieving, do things fast kind of person. And of course, as I got older, I slowed down, as we talked about earlier. But partly it's also that AI can make up for that speed. It's faster than I ever was. So now, Javier, I'm 50 and I'm using AI to do things. I'm doing it faster than I myself did it when I was 25, right? Absolutely. It's way faster than me, way faster than I used to be too, right? So you can use it to speed up things and make yourself more effective and powerful. And that's how you keep your brain sharp, right? You shift yourself from I'm the doer to I'm the judge. I'm the person making sure that what comes back is high quality, right? I'm the conductor, as I say, earlier today. I'm not the player of all the instruments. I'm making sure that the players of instruments are playing them well, right? That's what the conductor of the orchestra does. So same
Mm.
idea. Is your daughter concerned about environmental aspect of this as well? Is that part of this, or is
Yes,
okay?
absolutely. She's thinking about the whole picture of it. And I think it's and obviously there's a lot of misinformation there as well, but I think she is thinking about that. There's a lot of concerns on being authentic as well. And
100%.
I give it examples. For example, I'm about to publish my second book. I remember when I did my first book, it took a long time to really proofread it, make sure like grammatically, and sure you can hire people. And now you can put it through an AI and say, hey, listen, I found this grammatic error. Would you like me to correct it or not? They give you an option. And it really accelerated delivering the message. And I say, hey, listen, my message in the book is my message, is my framework, is my
Exactly.
but there's things there that it helped me to be more concise, which I don't think in a way that the editor was going to do it anyway, or the proofreader was going to do it anyway. It's just a
Yeah,
human.
who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I hear you. And actually, in a very meta fashion in the book, I talk about how I used AI to write the book, right? And in a similar way, like I'm actually a very fast writer, but for this, I actually dictated, into a microphone what I wanted. And then I had AI kind of assemble it and then I edit it, right? And then, of course, I did have it proofread and do those kinds of things as well. But it is, of
Yeah.
course,
It's
my voice
excellent.
because I'm rewriting everything in my voice, right? So it's in my voice much, much faster. And then, of course, for research or ideas or testing, of course, I used AI, right? So agreed, right? My first book was actually a memoir, so a very different type of book, but this is my first business book. But certainly the writing went very fast, and I think that you use AI in a good way to power it. It can go. So I'm glad to hear that you had good success for your second book.
Excellent. I can talk to you for hours. Where can people find you? Because I definitely want to have you back in the show, but
Yeah.
where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me all over the place, Instagram or what have you. If you go to the book site, which is agelesspeakperformance.com, so it's the name of the book, agelesspeakperformance.com. On the bottom, you'll have all of my socials, right? You have some information about me, about the book, some links to buy it on Amazon, what have you. Again, of course, you just go directly there, but that's got the best place. But if you want to go directly, you can find me on LinkedIn under Ted Sensei, or you can find me on Instagram under TEDx Sensei. So those are places that you can find me. But again, the book site is probably the easiest place to send people.
Yes, and I highly recommend for people to go to the landing page and really check out the giveaway that you're giving, because it really made me think today. So I really want to appreciate you for being here at the Positive Leadership Academy podcast. Definitely want to have you back, because this is a fascinating topic and something that we can really talk for hours.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As you say, every conversation is about AI, but not every conversation is a positive conversation about AI, right, Javier? And this one is very much, right? My whole thing is humans are here. We're not going anywhere. AI is not going anywhere. It's transformational. We need to learn how to use it to make ourselves better. And that's it.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.